Peymon who?
Mottahedeh.
Peymon Mottahedeh. Who is he?
Never paid taxes in 30 years. Fought the U.S. tax court and won.
See, I believe our rights come from God, not from government.
Do you want to stop paying for the war between Russia and Ukraine and the war between Israel and Iran and the United States? Tired of paying for all this murder of innocent people? You can do that legally and safely. I will show you. My name is Peymon Mottahedeh, the president of Freedom Law School, which I started in 1996. Our website is freedomlawschool.org. And for over 30 years, I've not given him $1 to these crooks to murder innocent people. Let's go over the news, what's going on in the Middle East and Ukraine, and come to the solution how you can be free of supporting the criminal act of murder. Not with your hard-earned dollars, right? Well, you've heard that the U.S. gave advance notice of one-off strike on nuclear test that Trump did. Then Trump bombs Iran and asks Iran to end the war. Wow, what a way to go. And then Iran suggests that they may close the Strait of Hormuz, affecting the oil supply coming from the Middle East. And then we hear that Iran did a coordinated missile attack on U.S. base in Qatar, okay? And then on top of that, look at this. All this military spending is coming out of your pocket. Look at the World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, 9/11 war on Iraq. It's all your money going to waste and murder of innocent people. But guess what, okay? There's things you can do. First, you got to understand how much does U.S. spend on so-called defense, which is not true. It's offense, okay? $820 million was in 2023. By now, it's close to $1 billion. Yes. And look at this. On the right of this chart is the light purple, pinkish circle part you see. That's U.S. share of military expenditures compared to the rest of the world. Yes, your pockets pay for about 40% of the world's military expenditures. On the bottom right, China is the orangish yellow color, followed by red. Next to that is, you see Russia, India on green, and so forth and so on. Yes, you cannot pay your bills. You don't have enough saved up for investments in the future, okay, struggling, worried about finances, and your money's going to complete waste, corruption, and murder of innocent people. I know you don't want that. I'll show you how you can stop indirectly taking part in all this, okay? Look at the Ukraine war. It's already at the right side of this page. The spending there is going on is more than Afghanistan per year. And also with Israel's situation. How much aid does the U.S. give to Israel, military and otherwise? Well, Israel has received more foreign aid from the U.S. than any other country since World War II. And here's a chart. Look at that. Israel has received more than Vietnam, okay? Almost double. Who was that war with Vietnam is considered part of that aid, okay? So all this money is going out there out of your pocket, and guess what? There's no counting of all this money at all. None. Here's a report you see. Day before 9/11, 2001. You're going to hear now. Secretary of Offense, War, Military, Defense, Rumsfeld, and a broadcast tells the world how the Pentagon is unauditable, and they cannot even know over $2 trillion where the money went to. That's in 1990s money. Check this out, folks. You'd be surprised to see how this goes.
Pentagon, the day before 9/11, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld declared war, not on foreign terrorists.
The adversary is closer to home. It's the Pentagon bureaucracy.
He said money wasted by the military poses a serious threat.
In fact, it could be said that it's a matter of life and death.
Rumsfeld promised change, but the next day, the world changed. And in the rush to fund the war on terrorism, the war on waste seems to have been forgotten.
My 03 budget calls for more than $48 billion in new defense spending.
More money for the Pentagon when its own auditors admit the military cannot account for 25% of what it already spends.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
$2.3 trillion with a T. That's $8,000 for every man, woman, and child in America.
You heard that, folks. Okay. Over $8,000 per man, woman, child, baby. Pentagon is not accounted for. Over $2 trillion. They don't know where the money went. Down the federal rat hole of corruption and waste in the name of defending you from bad guys. And you think they learned that? They stopped that? Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. 20 years after that, still the military has so much waste, they don't know where the money went. Not that it was, it was a waste. They don't know where the money went. There's no accounting, okay? For 7th time in a row, there is no audit of the master books of Pentagon, where the money went to. So, you tired of paying for all this? Your hard-earned money, you can put a stop to it. I'll show you legally by following U.S. government's official legal websites only. You're going to love this. Hang in there. See, first you got to go to our website, freedomlawschool.org. Then get to our page of 7 steps to free yourself of the IRS deception, robbery, slavery, which starts with the law. Follow the law, okay? I'm going to give you this 10-minute presentation that you see right here for you right now. Really quickly, starts with, believe it or not, the IRS 1040 income tax form. That's right. You believe this is for U.S. individuals that have to file income tax? That is not true. It's a deception what that term U.S. means. But hang on. I'm going to give you more before I answer that question for you. First of all, the instructions IRS gives you, okay, on the 1040 form is correct on page 8 about filing requirements, where they say correctly that these rules apply to all U.S. citizens. Yes, U.S. Let me tell you, folks, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm also Floridian. Most of you are citizens of your states and citizens of the United States. But there's a catch to all this, as you shall see. Okay? So here we go. The laws I'm going to show you is from this page, uscode.house.gov, which says that the United States Code is a consolidation and codification by subject matter of the general and permanent laws of the United States government. And it is prepared by the Office of the Law Revision Council of the United States House of Representatives. That's right. These are the lawyers of the House of Representatives putting the law out there for the world to know. The judges, lawyers, they all have to go here for the source of the law officially. And here is the regulations of the federal income tax law, okay? 1.1-1, Code of Federal Regulations, okay? Which says correctly, that's section 1 of the code, which is the Internal Revenue Code, right here. That's Internal Revenue Code, Title 26 of the page you saw, Category 26 of all federal laws. This is the Bible of the IRS with over 10,000 pages of tiny font, tissue-thin gobbledygook, meant to confuse you. So you give up and you hire a bookkeeper, accountant, CPA, or an attorney to help you make sure you follow the law correctly that they don't even understand, as you will see now, okay? So the law says that the code imposes an income tax on the income of every individual who is a citizen or resident of the United States. That is correct. But The term United States, what does that mean? That's the key. We'll come back to that, okay? But it does talk about non-resident aliens, but we'll come to that in another video. That other minor detail, we could set another time. So here we are. We're going to go from Title 26, the Internal Revenue Code. The very book you saw, this is online at the website I just showed you. You can do it yourself. Type in 26 space, USC space, 7701, space, uscode.house.gov, and bam, it gets you to this page, chapter 79 definitions. You have section 7,701 on definitions. And it tells you, when used in this title, again, it's all about Title 26, the Internal Revenue Code, the Bible of the IRS, okay, that define many terms in here that do not need defining, but Congress wants to be sure to define it the special way Congress wants it to be, and they can do that. Look at the term state shall be construed to include the District of Columbia, which is not even a state. It's not even a state, right? But they can do what they want and include D.C. as a state. And for the United States, when used in a geographical sense, it includes only the states, which now we know it's only the District of Columbia, and again, the District of Columbia specifically mentioned again. Neither place they mention any of the 50 states in defining United States or state. That's all it is. The U.S. tax form, you see, it's only for citizens and residents of District of Columbia. They didn't tell you that on purpose. They'll let you be misled by you assuming that the United States always means the 50 states united, when that's not the case. Let me show you what I mean by that, okay? So here we are. Look at the Supreme Court in the Houben and Allison Company versus Abbott, the tax commissioner of Ohio, okay? This is a 1945 tax case of U.S. Supreme Court. And it tells us it's very important, the term education. The term United States may be used in one of several senses. That's right. United States could mean three different things. The first and the third ones is what we usually think about, but the second one is the one tax laws are talking about, okay? So here we go. It may be merely the name of a sovereign occupying the position analogous to that of other sovereigns in a family of nations, like compared to France, Russia, China, Egypt, okay? The third one, I'm going to go to that next, is what? You'll see, it may be, or it may be the collective name of states which are united by and under the Constitution, like Florida, New York, California. But here we go now. The second one is the one they mean when they talk about it in tax laws. The term United States, it may designate the territory over which the sovereignty of the United States extends. That's right. The territory over which the United States government is completely sovereign and king. You see, America is 50 states or countries in the Union, and they're given D.C. as the headquarters of the federal government to protect the states and its people from England trying to make a military attack and take the states back as its colonies. And any naval military lands that the states give the federal government is completely for the federal government to do whatever they want or please with it, okay? That's the territory which the sovereignty of the United States extends, but the federal government is absolute king, okay? This is not the one you used to, but that is the one that they're talking about, okay, in tax laws. Now, I'm going to prove that to you here in this case of Kurtz versus Rural Housing Services versus Kurtz, a unanimous tax case that came out recently in February 2024, just over a year ago, and the court tells us this. When Congress takes the trouble to define the terms it uses, a court must respect its definitions as virtually conclusive. This court will not deviate from express statutory definition merely because it varies from the term's ordinary meaning. So when you see here, United States and state do not include the 50 states, you cannot assume that it's there by implication or by implying it is not there. It's just not there, is what the Supreme Court is telling us, okay? Now, let's go further to a tax case. Gould versus Gould, 1917 unanimous case. And in tax cases, it's even stronger. This thing that you cannot assume anything about tax laws unless it's clearly shown in explicit language of the law. Okay? So, Supreme Court tells us that in their interpretation of statutes levying taxes, in understanding laws that impose taxes, it is the established rule not to extend their provision of tax laws by implication or implying beyond the clear import of the language used, or to enlarge their operations of tax laws so as to embrace or include matters not specifically pointed out. If it's not specifically pointed out, it is simply not there. The 50 states are simply not there. You see in the definition of the United States, you cannot assume nothing about it, okay? Now, it gets even stronger. Check this out, okay? The court tells us, in case of any doubt about this issue, the tax laws, are construed or interpreted most strongly against the government's power to tax and in favor of the citizen not being taxed. There it goes. Closed, shut case. Put all that out of your mind. United States and tax laws and state only mean the District of Columbia. And all of this, you see this form, applies to D.C. individuals, not the 50 state individuals you've been deceived to believe that think that it applies to you, because it does not apply to you, my friends, okay? No. Let's go on now to a section on oil taxes to compare from Title 26 Internal Revenue Code, Subchapter A, Tax on Petroleum. Here, Section 4612 has its own special rules and definitions, and it tells us, for the purposes of this subchapter, again, Subchapter A, Tax on Petroleum or Oil, here's the definitions for many terms, including the term United States, which means the 50 states. There it is. They mention the 50 states explicitly because they can tax oil in the 50 states and the District of Columbia. And on top of that, they mention a bunch of U.S. territories specifically and continental shelf areas, and even foreign trade zones. You see, you got to go by whatever definition the Congress gives. That's the law. That's how Congress does it. That's how the Supreme Court says it's done. So the people of 50 states are not required to file income tax. You have no legal obligation to fund these wars between Russia and Ukraine, Israel and Iran, any of the wars or corruption waste of the federal government with your hard-earned labor. That's right. Right now, a part of every day that you work here maybe 2 hours out of 8 hours every day or more to pay for those murder. And you can stop it if you recognize that you are not the person who is called to file income taxes. And that's what I've been teaching Americans for over 30 years. None of my students who followed me came with me clean, stopped filing income taxes, has ever gone to tax prison, nor has the IRS levied their bank account paycheck or taken their home or property or business. And myself, not only have not filed and paid for over 30 years, IRS has never been trying to even indict me to put me in prison for not filing my income tax, because they know, I know, there's no law requiring me or you, the people of the 50 states, to file and pay federal income taxes. I don't want to lose in court, so they'll leave me alone. They can investigate all they want. For over 30 years, I've been under criminal investigation by the IRS. Yeah, that's right, I got proof of that. But they can't stop me sharing the truth to you, the American people, my friends. We have America back to be free. The government by the people, of the people, and for the people can be had again. And put your fear aside of the IRS, and we can protect you if you have the attitude of America's founding fathers. You can do all of that teaching for free on our website, freedomlawschool.org. Or if you want some little protection, peace of mind, that is also available. We give you that opportunity, okay, by here. Have the attitude of America's founding fathers. Come together, one for all for one. We all pitch in, and we can have America be free. Now they had to put their lives, the entire fortune, the sacred honor, everything on the line. And many of them lost everything they had to gain our freedoms that we still have substantial parts of. But today, we've fallen asleep on our rights, our public servants. But we can wake up, take America back. As an immigrant from Iran, I've got an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Join hands with me and other freedom lovers, truth freedom lovers like yourself. Join hands together, and we can have America be free as well. So here it is, very simple. I created the plan called the Restore Freedom Plan for you to join for modern day founding fathers of America like you, with 100% guarantee. And you can have 100% guarantee from the IRS when you legally stop filing pay income taxes. And as long as you're a member of the Restore Freedom Plan, Freedom Law School will prevent the IRS from levying your money, or Freedom Law School will reimburse you in full, and you will not go to prison. And we put your money into use to educate Americans, and have Restore Freedom, fund freedom media, election of good, honest people that run for office, okay, freedom lawsuits. All that happens with your participation in the Restore Freedom Plan that I created, over 20 years ago. Its roots of it goes to 2001. So with that, you can be free. Don't pay for all the murder and wars and corruption. You have a good conscience that I'm doing the right thing when I go sleep at night. I know that I did not contribute to any evil. I sleep good. I'm happy. I'm smiling. All this was black hair when I started back in 1992 in this cause, in this movement of freed America, of slavery, deception, and a totalitarian government we're going towards. So with that, I invite you, as you drive around, to listen to our videos on our website, freedomlawschool.org. What you want to do is to go to step on our front page, go to home page, and then click on Start the 7 Steps. When you click on that, go down, there it is, follow the law, watch all these videos again, and again as you drive around. You just watch the road and listen, but at home, for dinner or lunch at work, you watch and listen, and you say, whoa, I know the truth. I know I can be a free man. And then we will be free man and woman. And the family will be free with good conscience. In a land of free, home of the brave. Let's restore together. I give you guys all my love and invite you to start living a free life from here onward now.